see the stamp, and my heart drops. It was my dope. It was my stamp. The stamp was Bart Simpson, and it was my dope. I was the only one that had that stamp around there. So I knew it was my dope that had found its way back to her hands. And my heart, it dropped, man. I was like, what the fuck? All in an instant, like literally like that, I realized that, you know, it played real quick. And it was like, your sister's getting high from your drugs. So now it's coming back to roost with you. Everything that you've sowed is coming back to reap, and it's reaping with you. Your sister's getting high on your drugs. How does it feel?
At the stop sign, turn left onto North Street.
And it felt horrible. It felt horrible. I started crying. You know, and at this time she had started, you know, she would, I don't know how she did it, still to this day. And I'll never know. But she used to break in my safe. I had a safe. She used to break in that motherfucker, you know, steal money, steal thousands. And I'm not talking about like steal $20. I'm talking about,
turn right onto Pennsylvania 42.
She had, you know, she would go in there and there'd be thousands and thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, you know, $50,000, $60,000 at a shot. And I remember the only time I would really find out is when I would go make a big purchase. I'd go buy a motorcycle, buy a car, buy some jewelry. I'll spend $30,000. And I would keep my money all, you know, stacks of $10,000. And I'd go to spend it, and it'd be $8,000. Or in each stack of 1,000, there might be 800, there might be 920. And I was anal when it came to making sure I had the right money. I'd count it, I'd put it through a machine, you know, all that. So I knew.
1 mile, turn right onto Pennsylvania 42.
I knew exactly what's supposed to be there was supposed to be there. And so those times, and I was like, damn. But I would always be like, all right, I have a lock on my door. I have my safe lock. I don't know how the fuck she was getting it. I don't know. She must have had an extra key. I don't know to this day. But she was stealing money and stealing a lot of drugs. So when I seen that, my heart sank. And I was like, damn, this is what I get. This is what I get. Now I'm on the other side, right? So then after that, I had sort of started feeding her drugs just so she wouldn't go out in the street and she wouldn't go missing. Because the thing she would also do is she would go to people and be like, hey,
right onto Pennsylvania 42.
And she knew that my name was good where she could do this. She would go to people and be like, hey, Frank said he needs to borrow 10 bundles, you know, and they'd give it to her. And they'd never be for me. She would keep them.
3.4 miles. Keep left
Sometimes,
Pennsylvania 42.
Sometimes she would keep them and say, you know, sometimes the next time they'd be like, yo, tell your brother to call me. She'd be like, yo, that wasn't for my brother. And if you tell him, he's going to have a problem with you because you gave me drugs. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. Damn near like extorting people. So she did that a lot too, you know. And it just got to the point where I used to tell her, I used to be like, here, you know, I'd sort of feed her drugs and enable her just so I know she would stay home and she wouldn't be out ripping and running the streets and doing stuff that she shouldn't be doing to get her money. And, you know, it didn't work. She still wanted to go out in the streets and rip and run and, you know. And that shit was killing me because I knew I was responsible for her getting high. At the very beginning, I was the one responsible. You know, and I didn't necessarily give her the drugs to her hand, but I was responsible for it. And that shit hurt. That's still a burden I carry to this day. You know, my sister's been out there in them streets for the past 20 years, getting high, living in this state, living in that state, living in this city, living in this city, you know, living in the streets. My sister's been fucked up. You know, she gave up custody of her children because of her addiction. And I know that at the end of the day,
in 2 miles, keep left onto Pennsylvania 42.
at the end of the day, if I want to be 100% honest, a lot of that falls back on me. You know, that I was the one that initially started getting her high. So that's a lot of the reason why I do what I do in Kensington. You know, and for me, my relationship with my sister now is we don't have one. You know, those of you that know, I went to pick her up in Massachusetts last summer and brought her to my house, hoping that she would detox, and she left in 2 days. And for me, prior to that, I hadn't spoken to her in 5 years. Because I had mentally and emotionally prepared myself that when I was in prison and my sister was ripping and running out there in Kensington, there was a serial killer, the Kensington Strangler, was out there killing girls. And I just knew she was going to be one of those victims. I just knew it. Thank God it didn't happen. But I emotionally and psychologically and mentally prepared myself that one day I would get the call and they'd tell me, Frank, your sister, we found her body. So that when that time came, it wouldn't hurt as much. But what I did is I calloused myself to her. You know what I mean? And like I said, I didn't talk to her for 5 years. Damn near. Just because I was like, you know, I can't be a part of your demise. So for me, whenever I know somebody's not doing well, whenever I have a family member that's, you know, close to death or not doing well, I just have nothing. I just have nothing to do with them. I don't talk to them, nothing. It's just the way I deal with that type of stuff. That's the way I've been dealing with it for the past couple years with my sister. It's not right. I know that, but I don't know what to do.
In 2.9 miles, keep left onto Pennsylvania 42.
You know, I don't know what to do. I don't know. You know, and there's so many more instances that I've, you know, ran in houses, you know, pulled guns out on people, all that type of stuff. Anything you could think of has happened behind my sister. I find out she's over here. She's in West Philly. I'm over there, and I'm on go. So, you know, there's plenty of times where I've ran up in houses that I had no business being in, and situations that they probably looked at me coming in that house, you know, and was like, oh, you know, this motherfucker's on a different type of mission. I know that's the way, you know.
In 2 miles, keep left onto Pennsylvania 42.
And there's been a lot of those situations, a lot, that I've had different type of street beefs behind, you know, somebody giving my sister some work and me taking their work and then going to get them and being like, okay, now you just opened up yourself to me. Now I'm going to do whatever I want to you. You know what I mean? If I want to stick you up, I'm going to stick you up. I want to shoot you, I'm going to shoot you. You know, that's what I would do, and that's what I've done. You know, and I remember the last time I seen her, I was like, man, this ain't my sister. It ain't the sister that I remember. You know what I mean? I remember my sister 16, 17 years old. That's who I remember. That's not what I see anymore. You know? And it hurts. Because I know I play a big role in where my sister's at in life right now. You know? And granted, she's a grown woman. She makes her own decisions, but you know, it's just the way it is. It's not easy to deal with. It's a very sore subject with me. And I don't know, it hurts, you know. But it also is what it is. And
Keep
I don't know.
left onto Pennsylvania
I don't even.
42. Then turn left onto Moreland Baptist Road.
I don't know. No, I don't even know what to say. I'm like getting sad and depressed just talking about this shit. So I'm gonna end this here.
It's not a game.